Hey guys, welcome back to Hike Oregon. Today is National Foam Roller Day. Did you know that? I didn't until I looked it up. If you don't know what a foam roller is, this guy is a foam roller to roll out your muscles. So to tie it all together, basically I wanted to make a video about my battle with plantar fasciitis. And I know that's a big thing in the hiking world, so I thought I'd talk about my experience, how I've dealt with it, how you can cure it, that kind of thing. And we'll get back to this little guy because it's super helpful. Now, let me get into my story a little bit. October of 2015, I started feeling pain in the bottom of my foot, kind of like the middle of my foot. So here's my foot. The pain was like right here. Now, a lot of people, when they experience plantar fasciitis pain, they experience it in their heel. For some reason, mine is kind of out of the ordinary, and I experience it in the bottom of my foot. October 2015, I started feeling pain. I totally ignored it. I was like, pain, what is this? Like, I've never had any sort of pain or anything like that from hiking. So I ignored it, and I kept hiking on it. It was a beautiful fall, 2015, beautiful winter actually, and I just continued hiking on my very painful foot. I would hike like 11 to 13 miles on it, and by the end of fall, I was pretty much like limping on long hikes, and at that point I was like, okay, there's a problem. So I looked it up. I looked up foot pain because I was like, it's not, I didn't really think I broke anything. It was very, I didn't know. I don't know much about feet in general, so I looked it up, foot pain. First thing obviously that comes up if you look up foot pain, especially at the bottom of the foot, is plantar fasciitis. So I did some research, but I still wasn't convinced that it was plantar fasciitis because my pain was in a different area than most people experience. So I went to see a podiatrist at like this super special center here, and the guy was so useless. He barely even touched my foot and was like, yep, you have plantar fasciitis. Put in these insoles. They gave me just generic insoles that I could have bought at Walmart for $10, and that cost me like $45 because it was from them, but it was literally the same brand you would get at Walmart. And they're just generic insoles, so they're not made for your foot. They don't fit your foot appropriately, and they're just like, oh yeah, wear these and do some stretching. So he gave me a little handout on stretches, and that's it. He's like, come see me in a month. He never even told me to stop hiking. What the heck?
What the heck?
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, I told him I was an avid hiker, so at that point he should have been like,
Stop hiking. Rest it.
Nope, just basically put in these generic insoles and you're good to go. So I was stretching, and he basically said to stretch like all day, every day. So I was stretching way too much. I ended up partially tearing my plantar fascia, and from all the stretching, it made it worse. I continued to hike on it, which I shouldn't have. He never told me not to. And I wore these horrible insoles that didn't do anything. So, let's see, at that point it was end of February, I think, and it wasn't better. He was not helpful. I went to him again. I was just like, okay, you are not helppful. And at that point, we figured I was partially torn. And my dad actually, because he's studied sports medicine and stuff like that and used to be a track coach, so my dad was like, stop even like walking on it. He's like, don't, like, walk as little as possible for 6 weeks. And I hated that, but I did, because the partially torn plantar fascia had to heal. So I rested for 6 weeks. I didn't even really stretch. I mean, I did light stretching after about 2 or 3 weeks of like not anything, but I was so scared that I was gonna like re-tear it if I was stretching too much. So after 6 weeks of resting, during that time I also got a name of a person that makes custom insoles. So after the 6 weeks of hardly any walking, I mean, the most walking I did literally was at the grocery store to go grocery shopping. So there you go. I tried not to walk. So I went to this guy that makes custom insoles, and I talked to him about the plantar fasciitis, and he's like, yep, I deal with this all the time. And he made me some custom insoles. So these are the insoles. You can see here they're made for my foot. Basically what he did is he watched me walk, he molded my foot, and then he made these. After these were finished being made, it took about 2 weeks, he said to wear these all the time. Like even in your slippers for a while, like until I feel better basically. So that's what I did. I was really diligent about putting these in my slippers. Well, you know, after I got home from work, I would take them out of my shoes, put them in my slippers. When I worked out, I would put them in my workout shoes, which I still do. And he said that I could start hiking again, obviously slowly. So I started hiking again after the 6 weeks. I started out with like half a mile. I literally started off with that little mileage. So, and then I just progressively started hiking more and more, very, very, very slowly. In August of 2016, as most of you know, I had plans to do a 200-mile section of the PCT. So, you know, I had this big goal in mind. You know, my family was coming from Germany, and here I was injured, not even being able to walk a mile. So I slowly, with the help of these, I slowly got better, and I was able to walk up to, let's see, I got up to 6 miles. And at that point, I did a loop hike that I thought was right around 6 miles. It ended up being almost a mile more than that. And the last like 3/4 of a mile, I was limping out. So I had definitely like re-injured myself, and I was back at square one, which after so many months of taking it so slow, step by step, it was devastating. And at that point, yeah, it was mid-May or something like that. And at that point, you know, I had till August to be able to hike like 14, 15 miles, starting from square one. So I was devastated. And at that point, I learned from someone at work about, he mentioned going to a chiropractor, and I was like, this is not chiropractor related. I wouldn't even have thought of the chiropractor. And he mentioned to go to a chiropractor that does active release technique. So active release technique is, or it has more to do with the muscles and less to do with like, oh, chiropractor, like he's gonna adjust my neck, that kind of thing. So I looked up a chiropractor in the area that does active release technique, and I went to him and I was like, hey, listen, I have like 7 weeks until this big trip. I can't even hike a mile right now. What can you do for me? And he was like, I can fix you. He has worked magic, basically. He adjusted my hips, which was a huge problem with me, and it still is. So I I still continue to go to him for maintenance as far as making sure that everything is in line, because plantar fasciitis comes about when you are overusing the foot in a weird way. So not in like an unnatural way, basically. So it can come from wearing high heels, which I think is where mine came from. I was in a job at that time for the 2 years prior, where I felt kind of forced to wear high heels, and so I wore high heels almost every day when that is so not natural, and especially for my type of foot, it's like the worst thing. So I'm pretty sure that heels caused it, and then of course the extended hiking once I was out of balance basically just aggravated it, and there it was. So during my time with the chiropractor, so he not only adjusted me and did active release technique, he also let me know some things I could do from at home to relieve some pain if it does flare up. One of the things was rolling my foot with a tennis ball. So I sometimes do this at work. If my foot is a little sore, you just take the tennis ball, put it on the ground, and then roll your foot on it, and it feels really, really, really good. It kind of, massages all those little muscles in between your bones there and stuff like that. So this is awesome. I also took this with me when I hiked on the PCT, in case my foot hurt or something like that. This doesn't weigh very much. So another thing that really helps, especially if you are in a lot of pain, is to freeze a water bottle. So I have a water bottle here that I have, poured water in and frozen, and then it's basically, you do the same thing as you did with the tennis ball. You'll just roll your foot on it, and then you can kind of roll your foot on the ice, which is really nice and, pain relieving and stuff like that. So that's definitely a tip that I recommend. So my chiropractor was able to fix me, and I was going like twice a week, basically all the way up until my trip in August, and I was fine the whole time. I didn't have any foot pain or anything like that, which is awesome. So I came back from my trip and I was totally fine. My hip started hurting me a little bit going into the fall, and so I went back to the chiropractor for that, and we started working on that a little bit, and I did have some soreness in my foot here and there. I think that's partially due to the fact that I started weightlifting, and so it makes all my muscles in my legs really tight, which does not help plantar fasciitis. Basically, your plantar fascia it goes, all the way from your leg. It's not called the plantar fascia at that point, but it connects to tendons in your calf, in your leg, all the way up to your glutes, and all of that is connected. The Achilles heel obviously connects to all of that, and then I can insert a photo, but the Achilles heel is one thing, and then it spreads out into 3 or 4, I think, tendons. That is the plantar fascia. So that's why you can have pain in different points. Some people experience pain in the heel because that is where their plantar fascia hurts, and then it splits, and I have pain on just one of those splits, basically. So what I have found that really helps now that I'm lifting weights and now that everything is really tight is obviously stretching, which I do stretch every, before and after I work out. But another thing that has helped me a lot is foam rolling. So That's where this comes in. Now, even if you're not lifting weights or anything like that, if you're just an avid hiker, I recommend this. I recommend foam rolling. It will help you. It will help your muscles, especially like after a long hike. Do this. You'll be good to go. You probably won't even really be sore the next day. Or do it right after your hike and then do it again the next day. And you'll see a huge improvement on soreness and tightness, and that will in turn prevent, I mean, even if you don't have plantar fasciitis, it will prevent that from ever even happening if you take care of your body now and do the steps to prevent that kind of injury. Because the problem is I've now had the injury, especially because mine was partially torn. That like phantom pain is always going to be with me. You know how like when you break a bone and like the weather changes or you use your arm wrong or something and your arm is going to be sore. Like that break is always going to be there. Even though it's healed, it's still there. Your body has healed it and it's now a different, your bone is different, you know? And so it will be sore. There's scar tissue. Even if my plantar fasciitis is mostly healed, I mean, it's definitely not really a problem anymore, but it can flare up if I do certain things, like if I don't stretch, if I don't foam roll, if I don't hike with my insoles. I definitely feel it. Just do the things to prevent it from ever even happening so that you don't have to deal with it. You know, it's easy. You just stretch, foam roll, take care of your body, and you'll be good to go. So here is my little foam rolling routine. Okay, so I start out with my calves. I have really massive calves. I don't know if you can tell, but compared to my legs, they're massive. So that is a part that I really have to focus on because that is where I get a lot of tightness. Like I can feel, and this is what he does when this is what the chiropractor does when he does active release technique. He's just jamming his finger in there and then I'm activating it so that it releases the balled up muscle. So another nice way to do that by yourself, because it's hard for me to do that by myself, is to roll out the muscle. So basically I just do this like 7 times on each leg. And I like the spiky roller. I was on a different roller. I was on a flat one before, and after like 2 weeks of rolling, it just wasn't enough for me anymore. So I definitely like this one better. So once I rolled the calf, I go up to the hamstring. So basically I'm sitting on it like this and just rolling back and forth, like so. Again, I usually just do like 7 times. That's about as much as I can handle. And then from there, I move up to the glutes. So this is a little bit harder. So I kind of like sit on it like this, and then I put my leg over the other, so it really kind of goes into like right here, like your upper glute, you know? And yeah, it's kind of, you kind of have to figure out, it takes a little bit of balance, that kind of thing, so. But yeah, this one feels really, really good after you've done some lifting or some hiking. Okay, and then from there, I focus on the hip, or the side of the leg, which can be, for me, I think is the most painful. So basically lay on it like this, I have this leg straight, and then I plant this leg so that it's not so awkward. And then I just roll it out like so. This is for me, like I said, the most painful. Whew. I'm not sure why, but man, that hurts. Whew. And then from there, I make sure to do the front of the legs, the quad muscles. So it's kind of hard for me to show, but I basically just lay on it so that I'm rolling this part. So. Okay, and then I always do my back, which I roll forward, and then I just rest my head in my hands. I take a big breath and I On the exhale, I roll down and just make sure to relax. Usually you can pop some vertebrae, which is nice. Okay guys, that is my foam rolling routine. That's just what I do to make sure I take care of my legs, get them all nice and loose from hiking and lifting. Like I said, it is super, super, super important to take care of your feet and legs while it's not a problem. And I wish I had done that before I got plantar fasciitis, but it is obviously a learning lesson for me, and I can now impart my knowledge onto you guys so that hopefully it prevents you guys from ever experiencing plantar fasciitis, because it is very frustrating and you just feel like your body is giving up on you. Just make sure to take care of yourself. And like I said, if you already are experiencing plantar fasciitis symptoms, if you can't put weight on your foot, you can kind of know from that it's most likely already partially torn. At that point, like I said, stop walking on it, don't walk on it. The doctor can't do anything. It's not like they can cast you. It's not like they can put a cast on it or anything like that. Nothing like that is going to help, because you do want mobility in your foot. A cast would be like the worst thing you could do for it, because your plantar fascia still needs to move. Ligaments and tendons take the longest to heal. It's not like bones. Bones have more blood flow through them, so they heal faster. So that's also a reason why you don't want a cast on your foot, and you do want, mobility and flexibility and be able to move your foot so that you can get blood flow into your foot. That's why icing is really good for it, because it stimulates the blood flow. And the more blood flow you have in your plantar fascia, the faster it will heal. So just don't walk on it, but make sure you do move it. That's super important. A lot of people think, oh my god, I'm injured, like I'm just gonna wrap it and that's it, I'm not gonna move it. That's probably like one of the worst things you could do. And if you're just having like beginning symptoms of plantar fasciitis, again, don't overdo it. Make sure you're stretching, a really, just simple leg stretches. Like I really like, just like grabbing your toes, just simple things like that can really, really help. Yeah, massaging your foot, like I said, rolling it out on the tennis ball. Make sure you get yourself some insoles. I know I have a really high arch, so a lot of the generic insoles for me don't work. I know that the insoles that are custom made for you, they do cost a pretty penny, but that was like the best $400 I've ever spent in my life. I honestly wish I wouldn't even have gone to that stupid podiatrist, because I wasted so much money with him, seeing him a couple times, when really I just could have spent that money on some custom-made orthotics. And the orthotics guy knew way more about plantar fasciitis than the podiatrist did. Maybe it was just my podiatrist, and maybe some other ones are better. Do your research in the area and see like who's the best. And also, I highly recommend going to a chiropractor who does active release technique. That saved me. I would not have been able to go on my trip had I not seen him. So he definitely, huge lifesaver, and he continues to work on me, and yeah, I seem to be okay. So even though you think, okay, chiropractor, that's bizarre, why would I go to a chiropractor for a tendon issue? But they know all about bodies, and they know how everything is connected, which that is the important thing. It's not just your foot has a problem, it's It might be the way your knee is tracking, and that's why your foot is having a problem. It might be that your hips are out of alignment, and that's why your foot is having pain, because your hips are making you walk weird. It's all connected. So make sure to go to someone who knows about the way bodies are connected, whether it be a chiropractor or a massage therapist or a physical therapist. They'll know how to help you. Those are just some of my tips, and I hope this video was helpful. Just let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about plantar fasciitis or foam rolling, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and like the video, and I will see you next time.